Today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up the sub account that's gonna have your SaaS, so you can go out there and sell your SaaS to different individuals and have a way to not only onboard them, but process them inside an actual sub account. So you can manage your clients and do everything that you honestly need to get a successful SaaS business going. So today's gonna be the second part of the setup. So stay tuned and build along with us. So last time we actually created the actual backend for the agency account for our GoHighLevel SaaS. We paid the $497 plan so we can have access to the SaaS configurator, which will help us auto create accounts right from the beginning that will allow our customers to basically get their own accounts under our white label. Now, the important thing for you to understand is we're paying the $497 plan because we want that option of the SaaS configurator that's going to allow us to auto create plans. Today's video, what we're going to focus on is building the back end for the agency sub account that we're going to be running all of our business from. This is going to be the sub account that we're going to communicate with our clients. We're going to be able to process their payments. We're going to be able to get their information, have it all in one system. So if we need to send out mass emails, updates, have them join a group, whatever it is that we want to do, including education, putting into a members area or even a community, this is going to be the place to do it. So it's very important for you to understand that even though we set up everything on the back end for the agency on the first video, the first part, this one is going to be directly about the sub account that we're going to set up in order for us to be able to do all the things we want to do with our customers. Now, understand that this is only going to be the back end setup. We're going to get into automations, funnels, and all that other stuff in other videos because I want to make sure that we break this apart so it's easy to understand. And there's actually an order of operations that I kind of want you guys to understand and feel to make this process a little bit more easier so it makes a little bit more sense to you. So first thing we're going to do is go into the software and in the agency side. Now, again, you know you're on the agency side and GoHighLevel because you'll see agency dashboard. I'm going to go to my agency dashboard. I'm going to go to sub accounts. And in sub accounts, I'm going to hit that blue button on the top right-hand side that said create sub account. Now, normally here you see you have a bunch of choices that you can. If you were doing this for personal, it'll be awesome. But since you're doing it for your own SaaS, you're going to want to create this from scratch. And the whole point of what we're trying to do is teach you how to do this from scratch. So then you forever know how to do this and becomes an additional skill set. Plus what you build for yourself is going to be great because then at the end of the day, you'll understand what needs to be done and what needs to be fixed as you're building this with us, right? So it's going to just give you a much better understanding. I'm trying to go slow so you kind of catch up if you're a little lost. But again, just kind of follow along. If you didn't watch part one, you kind of need to understand part one and even beginner videos before that. So then you can kind of get the general feel of how this all works. So I come in here, I'm actually going to choose a blank snapshot because a lot of this we're going to be doing from scratch. And I want to make sure we do it right from the get-go. Now I'm going to add an account manually because a lot of the stuff I'm going to put in is going to be make-believe. And then later on, we can always go back and change it because some things are going to have to be changed when we start registering for text messaging. All right, so I'm going to put in my name, my last name, my email address for this particular business, okay? And I'm gonna name this business Architects CRM account because I wanna make sure that while I'm building this out and we're having a bunch of fun with it, that I can identify that this is not, let's say, our staffing agency account, but it's the actual account that we're running business out of for the CRM specifically because I wanna handle all my CRM clients in one account. Now, believe it or not, I can run my agency account with my CRM. I just find it a little easier to segregate it. But again, you can do this at any which way you want. I'm just giving you my suggestion based on a lot of experience over the last 5 years. All right, address, I'm going to put in a fake address so you guys don't stalk me. All right, and then a fake city. Okay, and then just going to put the United States so then my language stuff doesn't get all messed up. And then again, here, the niche, I'm not really worried about that just now. We'll get that in a little bit later when we go into A2P. Now here, I'm going to do state. So we're just going to say old New Jersey. Oh, by now I know that I'm New Jersey now. And put any old zip code. All right. And then phone number is just going to be a 1-800 number for now until we actually start getting into the whole picking of A2P and selecting our numbers. All right, we're going to select East Coast because that's where I'm on. All right, and setting up the time zone, believe it or not, is very, very important. All right, and we're going to go ahead and hit save. Now, because I didn't select a predispositioned account like a snapshot or template, if you all don't know what a snapshot is, emails, it's a template of like opportunities and all that. Remember, we are building that from scratch, so I want to make sure that we leverage that in any kind of way that we see fit, but it's important to do so. Now, the other thing that I want to make sure you understand is that because I am going to be doing all of this and it's being charged to the agency, I'm not going to worry really about a SaaS plan and enabling it because it is the account and it's mostly going to come out of the agency anyway, because I'm the agency, and if it charges the actual agency account, I don't care, right? If this wasn't, you would go in here and you would put it on an actual SaaS account and then charge, obviously, because this account needs to be charged, but it would ask for a credit card and file and so forth and so on. But just understand that this is where we're at now. Now, honestly, this is all we're going to do because a lot of the stuff we're going to build inside the software. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. Now that this is overly created, I can go back into my sub accounts. Let's try that again. Sub accounts, and it'll be listed as the CRM account. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm actually going to hit switch to sub account. I can also do it from the top menu, but again, just wanted to show you a different way. Now, inside here, there's a couple of really important things that you need to do right off the bat. First and foremost, you're going to go to settings. You're going to go to business profile, and here is where you're going to set all the information about the business. I would recommend doing this as early as possible. So then when you get into the actual A2P registration for text messaging, which is strongly recommended you do have text messaging if you're planning on running a SaaS, that you do this all in here. So you're going to put your legal business name. I would do it both in here and here because it is going to be super important that they match up. And there's reasons why as we get later on into the A2P. So just kind of follow along with that here. Business email, we're going to have our support email. Okay, if everybody has that. All right. And phone number right now, we're just going to leave a 1-800 number, fake number, because we're building this out. Now, branded domain, we kind of already have this because it's the agency domain and it's going to be the same. So again, I don't necessarily put the branded domain. And if you followed back to video 1, the branded domain is the one that goes out with links and calendars and all that other stuff. Technically, because I'm using the same one as the CRM, I can do that. But if I want to specialize it, I can go ahead and do that now. So here's what we're going to do. I think I have links or something else. I think I only have link as the non-plural world of links for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add links and use it in here so I can keep these separate that can come out of here. Reason being is if that gets tainted because somebody starts sending out spam links or whatever, then this one doesn't get affected. So we're just going to add it for practice anyway. So we're going to come over here. You see links at architects. Awesome. And it's going to ask me to log into Cloudflare. Had to restart it again. So we're going to do it again one more time. Authorized domain. Here we go. It's going to add this, which is awesome because that means I use the plural one. So this is going to be links. We're going to give it a few minutes. And then I'm going to pause the video, give it a few minutes. It's going to authorize it. If you don't have Cloudflare, you'll have to add a CNAME record for links or link or whatever you decide to choose. Again, I use link at the agency side, and then I use links inside the sub account that I want for my particular one, right? So let's try it again. There's a little bit of a network error. Awesome. I went ahead and got that added, which is great. We're going to have our website in here. All right. And we're going to choose a niche at this point in time because like I said, it's going to be pretty awesome. So we're going to just say internet marketing service. We're just going to do it that way. And we're going to hit update information. Okay. At the end of each one, I really rather you update information because sometimes this thing gets lost. We're going to update a business logo. Again, when we have it, all of this you should really do really early on so you fully understand everything that's happening. The second thing you're going to do is update your address. Now, if you're planning on using this, so for instance, our legal business name is definitely that. Now, if I want to go ahead and build this out and I want to have A2P, I need to make sure that the address that I put here on the right-hand side is literally the legal business address I've registered with the state that I'm in, that I have filed my tax ID on. For all of you guys that are, trying to do this as a sole prop, I strongly recommend you get behind yourselves an LLC just for limited liability purposes and all that. Not a tax accountant or a lawyer, but honestly, when you're building a SaaS, you're going to want to do it right. And that is doing it right is not doing it through a sole prop, but doing it through an actual LLC in what you do. Right now, as soon as you go through this, you want to make sure you set the address. The address has got to match exactly what's on the state website. So that white paper that a lot of us receive in the US that has that tax information, you want to make sure it matches exactly to the T, your street address. Because when we start registering for our actual A2P for text messaging, if that thing is off by a letter, it will completely fail in your brand. Okay, so just keep that up when you understanding as you go there. Now, platform language is definitely going to be English, and English when it goes to communication language for custom values. Okay. The next is you're going to want to pick the business type. Business type, again, however you are registered as. You want to pick the business industry. Again, we're going to go with marketing on this one. If not, just put other. But I think media. Again, I'm not a lawyer. You definitely have to go back in there. Consumer, maybe. We're going to go with online. All right. And then registration, it's going to be a tax ID. I don't have it on hand, but I would select my tax ID if you're in the US, and you put the business registration number. If you're not in the US, I don't know what you have to put in there, but honestly, I believe it's one of these if it applies to you, but just understand that that's what you have to do there. You put it in there right here. And again, some of you guys are going to try to do it as non-registered sole prop. Good luck with that. A lot of things are getting denied, especially nowadays. And then the areas that you're serving, we're just going to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and hit update information with obviously these two things that are required missing, because I will add that again privately when we have that. Next, you want to come over here. We're going to go over the left-hand side first, then we're going to jump over to the right. Representative email, we're just going to put my name for now. All right. And then we're going to just put our support. Okay. And then it's going to be director. Okay. In here, again, same thing, 1-800-555-1212 until we get an actual number. And I'm going to hit the update information. This information has to be accurate because, again, this all has to do with your registration that you're going to have. This registration has to be correct because, remember, this is the registration you're going to use to set up your A2P, which is the telephone information that you need to register for text messaging. So all this top stuff needs to be as accurate as humanly possible, because then what's going to happen is they might check on it. And when they check on it to register, you're going to make sure you want to have it allowed. As we scroll down, and every time, by the way, I just hit update information every time I go through it. Call and voicemail settings. We're going to have 20-second timeout, and I'm going to record an actual message right now. I'm going to show you how I do it. I go to onlinerecorder.com. It's free. Doesn't cost anything, at least at the time of this video it is. You come in here. Hi, this is Architect CRM. Sorry, we cannot take your call right now. Please leave a message and one of our technicians will get back to you as soon as humanly possible. Thank you. Super simple. I'm going to hit save. Once I'm saved, it's already downloaded. I come over here and I'm going to go back. I'm going to upload the MP3. I'm going to save call settings, and then I'm going to have a 10-second timeout because I want this thing picked up really quickly. And we're going to go ahead and hit save settings one more time. Now, these settings over here, the only thing honestly that sometimes I would do is mark the emails as invalid due to hard bounce, but we have a system that we're going to do, and we're going to show you how to build out that's a little bit more intelligent than that. Gather intelligence on unknown phone numbers. This is if you want to use the new spam feature that you have at the agency level. This only works if you're using Lead Connector, which is HighLevel's version of Twilio, or else this won't work. Verify an email address when first email is sent to a new contact. Again, do this, but understand that there is a verification cost that happens every time an email gets verified. If you want to do that, just understand that the first email that goes out, it gets verified, but that there is a verification cost that is associated with that. SMS compliant by adding stop. Basically, the way this works, if activated, the opt-in message will be automatically added to the first SMS that's sent via bulk messages to ensure compliance and delivery rates. So this is a requirement that happens on the first message. And if you leave that on, that's perfectly awesome. Here, we're just going to take the CRM account out, and we're going to say that we identify ourselves. And again, how does this work? If activated, the sender information will automatically be added to the first SMS. This goes along with the same stop to make you overly compliant. And then this at the end is make email compliant by adding the subscribe link in your email. And again, if you hover over this, if activated, we'll insert the unsubscribe links in your email footer so recipients can unsubscribe without marking the email as compliant or spam. So super important. All these things we leave on. The only thing I modified was the information as far as being compliant, because I wanted just a name to be on there. Now, contact duplications, obviously allowing for duplicate contacts is a no-go. I honestly always have that on, but it's important that you understand that this is where it's at. Next is mixed text callback. Enable mixed text callback if you want to basically, anytime somebody calls that number that we are going to have on file, that anytime they call, that we have a mixed text callbacks features. That's basically is, hey, I saw that we missed your call. How can we help? We're honestly going to build this ourselves under the notifications area, and we're going to create our own missed text callback. So for now, I will leave this on, but just understand that I am going to turn this off, and I'm going to make it personal to myself and to the company as we kind of build this out. All right. And then I'm going to have the save missed call text feature. I'm just going to save it all, go back and just make sure all this is saved, and we're good. Now, the reason I take so much time on this part is that this has got to be done right. And it's one of the early things you should do because it's going to make it real easy for you to kind of go in here and understand how to operate this thing. Billing, important, because this is what's going to get charged. If you don't add a billing payment, all of the stuff that happens in here will automatically be billed to the agency, which in this case is okay because I am the agency. So I just want to make sure you understand that. My staff, I do want to add people in there, but I'm going to show you a trick. I have agency people, and I want to add my people that are running our agency inside of here. Now, there's a very cool way to do this, and I want to make sure you guys understand. So what you're going to do is under my staff, I want you to go onto the top left-hand side. Let me delete some of these things right here. I'm going to duplicate my tab. If I duplicate the tab, by the way, this is $1 million secret. Hope you guys enjoy it. I can immediately use this to go anywhere else that I want. And what I want to do is when I come in here, I'm going to go to settings on the bottom left. In settings, I'm going to go to team. And in team, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select my team members that I want to add into that sub account. Now, the reason I want to add them to that sub account is if I want to have any of my calendars and if I want to be in that sub account to, get assigned to things or to do anything in there, I have to assign myself on there. So I'm going to go to roles and permissions. I'm going to come over here and I'm adding them to the CRM sub account. Fantastic. That's all done. I'm going to go now to the secondary person. All right. I'm going to add a secondary person in here, roles and permissions. And then I'm going to add, all right, there's a CRM sub account and I'm going to add myself too. And we're going to come over here, roles and permissions, same thing, CRM, boom. Now I'm added all to there, which is fantastic. Now I can delete this little duplicated tab because I don't want to confuse. And now if I refresh this, look who's in here already. So the reason why we did this is because a lot of the people that are going to be operating your agency are the people that are already in your agency has admins. So I added them to this account because 2 of those individuals are going to do onboarding calls. I'm going to be assigned to some of the emails because I want people responding that to me or some of the tasks that are going to be in here. So I want my agency people to be into this sub account. This throws people off all the time. So it's important for you to know that. We're not going to get into any of the other stuff because again, what I'm focused on is creating the account backend. So then we can start building inside the sub account. The next thing that's going to be really important is going into payments and bringing in the payments from the agency from my SaaS configurator. This is one of the most important parts of this whole thing because remember, we are going to be basically coming in here and pulling in the Stripe account information. Now, the one thing that I have to do is integrate the payments. So we will do that by integrating the Stripe payments in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to integrations and the same Stripe account that I have inside of my HighLevel agency is the same Stripe account I'm going to have in here. Now, for instance, for whatever reason, if I used authorized.net NMI, again, it has to be the same account because that's how we're going to be able to pull in the information so we can run the SaaS configurator through here because the agency plans need to match. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit connect. I'm going to go ahead and hit connect with Stripe and I'm doing with Stripe and I'm not going to do with authorized or NMI. You just have to follow the directions for those 2 individual things. And I'm going to come in here, I'm going to select and what it's going to do once it's fully connected, it's going to redirect me through. Now, as you can see, these things are done. I could do Apple Pay and all that. I'm not going to do any of that now because it's going to slow us down. And then just like before, I'm going to right click, I'm going to duplicate my tab and I'm going to go back to the agency because the next part is super important. If I come over here and I switch to agency view, I want to go to the SaaS configurator. In the SaaS configurator, I need to find the plan in question. We're going to go with the standard plan right here, if you guys remember. And what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we are going to look for edit details. We're going to go to pricing and you're going to see the price ID. I'm interested in the last 4 letters and numbers and I want to be able to identify that. Remember, I'm now inside my agency. I clicked on SaaS configurator. I clicked the plan that I wanted to basically use for this sub account. And I'm going to hit right here. I'm going to hit edit details. I'm going to go to pricing and I leave this up because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to payments, right-hand side products. And inside of here, I'm going to create a product. Whoop, let me go back. I'm not going to create a product. I'm going to import from Stripe and I'm going to find those numbers in question. So as you can see, they're all pulling in here, LKFRM, that's accurate. So I'm going to pull in that thing and notice it says agency plan and that's incredibly important. I'm not going to add a setup fee because our setup is going to be free. If you wanted to add it, this is the time where you add the setup fee. All right. If you're just starting out, I actually recommend you don't do that. Make it as part of the free, like limited time while you're getting up and running, just so then you can get people in here and it doesn't create a gate on there. Import Stripe. Fantastic. All this stays the same. I'm not really going to worry too much about it. And then I want my monthly plan. I also want to include my yearly plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back now that this is in. Notice that it says agency plan. That's super important. If this doesn't say agency plan, you're not going to be able to auto create the accounts. Now that this is there, I'm going to also import the other one from Stripe. All right, so we're going to let this settle. For some odd reason, it's not pulling Stripe. Sometimes you have to refresh. Guys, this happens all the time. Don't freak out. All you have to do is just hit the refresh button and let this thing sink in. Beautiful. Now again, FFW. So now it's going for the 970 plan, all right? I'm going to come over here. FFW 970 plan, no setup fee again. Import price again, hit save. Awesome, and now this is saved. I'm gonna hit the back button. Notice that it's still my standard plan, but now there's not one, but two prices, which is perfect. And now I'm done. If I wanted to bring in more plans, then all I would do is find out what the professional one, hit edit details, come in here, go to pricing, and then grab the pricing IDs, and same as before, come in here, import from Stripe, all right? Give it a second to load. Sometimes you have to refresh like I mentioned before, and it's gonna pull in automatically the name, everything that you had set up here, it's gonna pull all this information in. I'm gonna come over here and notice that it has my 297, again, R273D, and I pull that in. I'm just gonna pull them in so you can see it. We won't necessarily use them, but at least they'll be in here. So I'm gonna pull it in, import, awesome. It's there, I'm gonna hit back, and notice that now it says professional and standard. You see that? And then I'm gonna pull in, and again, it has that agency logo plan. I need to make sure that that's on there, because if that's not on there, bad things will happen, right? So here I am, and then what I'm gonna do again, I'm gonna import from Stripe, and now let's grab, did it again. So I don't know, that's a little bit of an error they gotta work on. Come over here, select from Stripe. Now we're gonna yearly, import again. Now I know that's the only one, because in this particular area, this is the only two plans I have for that price. So I'm good to go. Again, I hit back product, and now look, I have two plans on here. This will come incredibly handy later on as we further build this out, but this is what you need to do. So now we imported the plans. Now we're on to the next thing. Next thing is gonna be, we're gonna go to settings, and we are gonna go to email services. Because remember, I've already created an email no reply that's gonna be the systematic one. Well, this one, I want it to be a little different, so I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna create an email server directly for this sub account, because I want it to be different than my agency altogether. Because the agency says no reply, I want this one to be a little bit nicer, right? So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna hit add domain. And just like before, we're gonna do just lc.architects.com. All right, we're gonna hit add and verify, and we're gonna authorize it. All right, I'm gonna authorize Cloudflare. Awesome. And in here, just like before, remember when we did this at the agency level, in here, what we're gonna do is play the verify game. But before we do that, we're gonna add two additional records. So I'm gonna pull up Cloudflare. All right, so while those other records are already been added and they're all in here, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and hit add record, and I'm gonna add a DMARC record for this particular domain. So I'm gonna do text. I know it's LC, so we're just gonna grab the rules right in here. I'm gonna copy the first part, come in here, drop that, and I'm gonna grab the second part, come in here and drop that on the required. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hit save. Wonderful, it's all in there. And here, all these are unverified, but the way I verify is I keep hitting the refresh button until I see all green. Once I see all green, then I go ahead and I move forward. Awesome, here's the all green I'm looking for. I hit verify domain, wonderful. And here, I'm just gonna set up the headers, which is gonna be Architects CRM, email support at architects.com. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit save. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add our domain so we can actually have the funnels listed in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to hit the back button. I'm gonna go to hit settings again. And then in here, I'm gonna hit domains. I'm gonna go to connect a domain. And here we're gonna have crm.architects.com. All right, because that's the domain we're gonna be leveraging in here. And notice I put CRM dot. The reason being is we're already using Architects as our staffing site. This is gonna be the CRM component, so we're just gonna make it super simple. If people want the CRM, they can go here. So I'm gonna hit continue. I'm gonna hit continue again, authorize Cloudflare one more time, and we're gonna give you a few minutes. All right, so now it brought me over here. I don't have a funnel yet, but I'm gonna leave it over here just the way it needs to be. And later on, I'm gonna go ahead and add it to the CRM actual website that we're gonna build inside of here that we're gonna leverage to basically sell our CRM. I'm gonna hit proceed to finish. Awesome, this is all said and done. And right from here, we're just gonna go through and make sure that there's nothing else at this point in time that we're gonna do. We're not gonna do phone numbers. That's gonna be its own separate lesson because we're gonna redo A2P because there's some rules that have changed that are coming to effect just this week. And I wanna make sure we cover that when we build this out. All this other stuff now we are gonna do in a basic other video where we're gonna start building our actual automations, our pipeline, our emails, everything that we need to run our SaaS successfully so you guys can get a really good idea how to build this from scratch. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and we'll see you in the next one.